It was a Tuesday morning, the kind that creeps in so quiet you don't feel the storm it's hiding. Out here, where our little patch of dirt kisses the edge of a homeowners association that thinks horses are a sin and kids are a nuisance, silence always meant something. I've learned that quiet holds more truth than any loudmouth promises. My daughter, Emma, 12 years old, was all soft hands and steady breaths, her heart tied to a single creature, Storm, her Appaloosa. That horse wasn't just her pet, was her shadow, her anchor in a world that rarely played kind. Every dawn, I'd watch them, Emma brushing Storm's mane while he leaned into her like a loyal dog, their breaths rising and falling as one. It was peace, pure and simple. But peace doesn't sit right with folks like Vi V. Weinholt, the HOA queen who wore her pearls like a choke chain and sprayed her lawn with fake jasmine at 7 a.m. sharp. Vi V. Wine had a way of looking at Storm like he was a stain on her perfect world. That beast is a hazard, she'd hiss over the fence, her voice dripping with disgust. And that girl of yours? Too fragile for her own good. I never answered, but I filed it away. Silence keeps receipts. Vi V. Wine loathed Storm because he was freedom she couldn't leash, and she despised Emma because my girl never flinched under her glare. Then there was Derek, Vi V. Wine's lapdog, always trailing her with a clipboard and a GoPro, the kind of guy who'd report a kid's lemonade stand for zoning violations. Last week, they tried slapping us with a notice claiming Storm's existence was NVY Ron mental pollution. We laughed it off, but that morning, something felt off. Storm wouldn't touch his oats. Emma kept glancing at the woods, like she could smell trouble brewing. Even the birds held their tongues. The knock came at 6:07 a.m., sharp and impatient, like someone CRVYing a warrant. I opened the door, coffee still warm in my hand, boots barely laced, and there stood Vi V. Wine, acting like she owned the air itself. Derek hovered behind, his GoPro rolling, clipboard clutched like a shield. Vi V. Wine didn't even look at me. Her eyes sliced past to the field where Storm stood in the morning fog. Your livestock, she started, voice slick as oil, has VY OLAD HOA boundary rules. Again, I stepped out, blocking her VYEW. He's a horse, not livestock, I growled. And that's not your land. Her smile tightened. Yet your animal was seen urinating near the community rose beds. Biohazardous. Unsanitary. Unsightly. I laughed, bitter and short. You're policing horse piss now. Derek raised his clipboard like it was holy writ. Page 14, subsection D, HOA Cleanliness Clause. I snapped. Shove that clause where your pride lives. Vi V. Wine didn't blink. She never yelled, she eroded, slow and toxic. I warned you, she said softly. If you won't remove that animal, we will. She turned, but not before flicking her eyes at the dirt on my porch. This property drags down our community's value. I took one step. Touch that horse, I said, fist tight, and I'll burn your rulebook to ash. She left without a word. Derek's GoPro clicked off halfway down the drive. By afternoon, a new steel fence post stood on our path, barbed wire coiled around it like a threat. Emma saw it first, her eyes locked on it, silent. Storm stood beside her, ears pinned, head low. He knew something was coming. So did I. We weren't just being watched, we were being hunted. That evening, the air felt heavy, the sky a bruised gray. I was fixing a gate latch, glancing at the fence line every few seconds, when a scream tore through the quiet Emma's, but Storm's raw and wrong. I dropped my wrench and ran. What I saw stopped me cold. Vi V. Wine was in our paddock, white slacks pristine, heels sinking into the dirt, a black leather whip in her hand, its steel-tipped and glinting. She swung it down on Storm's flank rack, and he bucked, trapped in the tight space, blood beating where his skin split. Stop, I roared. Vi V. Wine turned, slow, annoyed, like I'd interrupted her coffee. I warned you, she said, ice in her voice. If the HOA won't act, I will. I charged forward, but Derek, filming from the fence, grinned. Careful, he said. Touch her, and we'll own this land by Christmas. Vi V. Wine raised the whip again. That's when I saw Emma in the ground, forehead bleeding, face pale, arms clutching her chest. Emma, I whispered, then snapped. I vaulted the fence, ripped the whip from VYN's hand, and threw it into the mud. Storm backed off, flanksy VYing, eyes wild. VYN stumbled, heels catching. "You touched my kid," I growled. "You beat her horse. You just started a war." Her face twitched. "He defiled community property," she said. "I was enforcing my rights." "You have no rights here," I shot back. "Just illusions. And now, consequences." Derek kept filming. VYN adjusted her hair, but her voice cracked. "You've made the biggest mistake of your life." I didn't answer. I picked Emma up. Her knees scraped, eyes glassy. Storm pressed his muzzle to her shoulder, whining. I saw the red weld on his side, and something in me crystallized not rage, but clarity. I knew what had to happen. VYN's heels squelched as she marched off, but it was the last time she'd walk without fear. The blood on Storm's flank hadn't dried. Neither had Emma's. I carried her to the porch, her arms tight around my neck. Storm followed, limping, Leah VYing faint red drops in the dirt. Behind us, voices gathered via VYN's audience. HOA board members, neighbors. Derek waved his camera like a trophy. VYN stood center, arms crossed. No remorse, just contempt. "That animal must be put down," she declared. "He's dangerous." I stood. "You trespassed. You whipped a horse. You hurt a child." She scoffed. "That girl's always been weak, dramatic." Emma whimpered, and that was it. I stepped to Storm, unhooked his lead, and whispered one word. "Charge." Storm flared his nostrils, reared up, hooves slashing the air, and let out a shriek that shook the earth. VYN's eyes widened. "What's he doing?" She turned to run, but her heels sank in the mud, and she fell, screaming, her white slacks soaked, makeup streaking. Storm didn't touch her. He didn't need to. He stopped inches away, slamming his hooves down, spraying dirt and manure across her face. She clawed backward, shrieking, hands slipping in the filth. I walked toward her, slow, deliberate. "You think you're untouchable," I said, voice sharp. "But power isn't your rules or your meetings. It's knowing what you die for." She choked on mud, scrambling. I picked up her whip, now caked in muck, and cracked it beside her head. She curled up, screaming. "Come near my daughter again," I whispered, "and Storm finishes this." Silence fell. Derek's camera stopped. The HOA board froze. Only Storm stood tall, bloodied but unbroken, eyes burning. Then a slow clap broke the quiet. Mrs. Carver, the HOA treasurer, always silent, crossed her arms. "About damn time someone shut her up." Others joined in, and VYN, on her knees, shrieked, "You're siding with him?" "He set a beast on me." "No," I said. "You fed your ego, and it crushed you." She slipped again, crawling toward the sidewalk, a queen dethroned, dragging her dignity through the dirt. By nightfall, the world knew. A raw Derek's edited nonsense hit the internet. VYN whipping Storm, dung lighted them Dow Cham, then Storm charging, Emma bleeding, my voice lethal, VY and scream unhinged. It hit 3 million VYUs in hours. VYN's white Lexus tore out the next morning, her ripping down HOA flyers in a robe, cursing. She saw me watching. "You think this is over?" she spat. "No," I said. "It's just starting. You're not president anymore. You're a meme." She hurled her binder at me, pages fluttering like a dying empire. She ran not home, but out of her kingdom. In court, VYN rolled in, arm in a sling, sunglasses hiding bruises karma dealt. Her lawyer, all slick hair and loud objections, threw around self-defense and provoked response. The judge wasn't impressed. 4 VY-Deos played. VYN trespassing, whipping Storm, yelling at Emma, then crawling in defeat. Silence. VYN broke, shrieking at the judge. "He's a lunatic." I stood silent. My lawyer laid it out. Trespassing, animal abuse, child endangerment. Verdict, guilty. HOA leadership gone, restraining order, restitution for Emma and Storm. VYN sank, hollow, as I muttered, "You built your kingdom on fear. Now it's ash." The HOA dissolved. At a community ceremony, Emma, in a jacket with Storm's name, stepped up. "My horse saved me," she said, voice small but sure. "Because I matter." Applause roared. Mrs. Carver gave them a medal etched with their silhouettes. Guardians rise. Emma clipped it to Storm's saddle. He stood proud, a general at rest. A month later, a letter arrived. VY in institutionalized, screaming about horses, a husk of the woman who'd ruled with pearls. I burned her HOA plaque in our fire pit, flames curling her name to nothing. Emma whispered, "She's gone, right?" I looked at her, at Storm grazing under moonlight. "Yes," I said, "but her kind never fully vanishes." She nodded. "I'm not afraid." The breeze carried dry leaves, and it was over not because the fire died, but because VY's claws had nowhere left to dig. Sometimes, you don't fight a war. You show the monster's face and let the world tear it apart. I won't lie, what I did was harsh, loud, necessary. When someone hurts your kid and smiles, you don't ask politely, you make sure they never try again. Storm didn't hate VY. He just answered my call and protected what mattered. Justice isn't always clean, but it stands its ground. So, I'm asking you, if someone hurt your child, your animal, and laughed, would you hold back? Yes or no? Drop it below. Would you have stopped Storm or let him charge? Should VY have faced jail time, or was her downfall enough? Hit that like button if this story hit you hard, and subscribe with the bell on for more raw, real stories. This world needs folks who stand up, who protect, who rise. Thanks for being one of them.